Welcome to TimeBender Talks, the ultimate destination for professional photographers. This weekly podcast is hosted by Peggy McCartha, a certified professional photographer with over 30 years experience and the creator of the Headshot Strategist certification program. Peggy interviews a diverse range of experts in business, branding, marketing, networking, and photography. So whether you've been doing this for years or you're just starting out, we've got you covered. Oh, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our latest episodes filled with tips, insights, and lots of fun.
Yay! And today I am so excited because RJ is one of my favorite humans in the whole wide world, and I get to pick RJ's brain all day about, okay, probably just for a half hour or so, but all day about branding. And you are very much an expert in many things, but today we're gonna hit you there. So introduce yourself, tell us who you are and where you are in your amazing journey.
Well, so coaches hire me to skyrocket their presence. Most feel like they're going into a hole online, screaming into a black hole. They end up being a carbon copy of everybody else. They hire me to create epic engagement journeys, and they hire me to help shape and form their businesses around that central idea. Most people call it a brand.
There you go. So anybody that's heard me say, why is this called Time Benders? And I tell the story about this genius that said, you have to have like a name for your people. What do you nerd out on? And I'm like, yeah, nothing. And I say this genius in conversation said, yeah, this is it. Well, this is the one I'm talking about. This is RJ. She is the one that is an amazing listener because, just in conversation. And I think that's where a lot of people forget is that we already know the answers. We just forget the questions, right? We need to know what questions to ask. I think that we always know the answers. It's just talking it out and saying it out loud sometimes. And so, what is it about, helping people like myself and other entrepreneurs? How is that your passion? What is it that you love so much about it?
Well, I think it really stemmed from the uncomfortableness of being shoved into a cubicle in corporate America. I mean, for years, it's been dim your light so everybody else will be comfortable. It was you're not fitting into the box very well. Surprise! Yeah, I mean, there was a whole bunch going on there that didn't fit me, didn't fit my personality, but I got a paycheck. Um, and gratefully I released myself from corporate slavery a long time ago. And when I got into my wife said, hey, start your business again, do websites for people. I don't care what you do, just don't do that corporate thing again because it was killing you. I'm like, oh, I guess I better listen to her. I mean, she's wise. So anyway, she said, start your business again. I'm like, okay. I mean, I have skills, I have talents. I can make that happen into money. Okay, here we go. And at that time, this was 2015. At that time, I was looking around on the internet for, uh, marketing is my specialty. It always has been ever since I've been like 6. I'm turning around to my sisters going, they shouldn't be using that color, on the commercial. I mean, it's just always been a thing for me, a fascination, we'll call it. So I was kind of everybody's business marketing advisor, And what was happening to me was that I would look online and I would take people's advice, people who seemed to know what they were doing. And the advice would be, look a certain way, wave your hands a certain way, say these words that will help SEO, this magical SEO god, pick you up. I was doing all of those things. I was wearing the correct polo, waving my hands in the way that I needed to, and doing all of the things that I was told, and it brought me nothing. It just brought me nothing. It was like, really, something's missing here, and long story, tiny bit shorter, but turned out to be me was missing from all of it. I mean, I'd gone from a corporate place that was like, dim your light, act this way, dim your light, act this way, so that everybody will be comfortable. And then I threw myself right into the fire of following everybody's advice that was look this way, so other people will be comfortable. So holy, it was a very interesting realization. But as with any time you put yourself somewhere, you can also take yourself out. And what ended up happening for me is probably about a couple of years past, I was doing my business. I found out I discovered bots. Chatbots were the first time that I could construct a conversation between me and another human that reflected actually my personality, not who I'm supposed to be. And it was a breakthrough for me to discover that people like my actual personality. It's not 100 billion people. I'm not Gary V. I don't have the kind of famosity that a lot of people in marketing have. And I'm actually kind of grateful for that because it's not something that I actually want. Anyway, what I discovered was that first little inkling of maybe I can use my personality here. And oh, look, people like my personality. And then I got to a space where I was invited to come to this event. I was invited to speak at the event, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I wore a cape to the event, and at that time a very itchy mask, and it was too small for my head. And I wore this stuff because the conference, the event person that was holding the event said it's going to be a superhero conference, and I, because I'm a smart aleck, said immediately, fantastic, then I'm wearing a cape. I mean, it's just my sense of humor. I am always going to be yes and for you. I can't help this. Too many years of watching Saturday Night Live. Anyway, so I wore a cape to this thing, and the response that I got was unusual, completely unprecedented, and something I could not have predicted for you in about 1,000 years. And that is that people ran up to me at this conference and were so excited to talk to me because of the cape. I was like, "What? I don't if I were standing here in the polo, attempting to act like a marketer, people would run, but they're running to me when I just bring out a part of myself that's playful and fun." And
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 they remember you.
oh my god, they remember me. Well, fast forward to 2020, right? Where are we stuck in? Zoom rectangles. Who do they remember at the networking event? Lady in the cape.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Exactly. They don't I make a first impression that is intensely attractive for my people and quite repellent for the people I don't want to talk to.
And that's something that I say all the time. When you bring your authentic self, you are going to bring those people that you want to hang out with. And guess what? The people that you don't want to hang out with, they're naturally not going to come hang out with you. So it's like killing two birds with one stone. Like, you're not having to like, oh God, I got this client that is a pain in the butt and I'm having to do this and that. No, they just don't ever become your client.
No.
And instead, you have I have so many amazing clients. Now, every once in a while, one will sneak in here and there, but it is so rare. It is so rare that I don't like, I just think I have the coolest clients. Like, I think I'm the luckiest person in the world because all of my clients are just really fun to work with. Like, I enjoy it when they leave, I'm like, that was a highlight of my day. That was so awesome. I can't wait to do it again. And then tomorrow, that was a highlight of my day. That was so awesome. And it didn't used to be like that. I used to just, I had clients that they were a pain in the butt. They were grumpy. I had to work and work and work to get good results. And then they still weren't happy because the experience wasn't there because they weren't my client. I shouldn't have been in the room with them.
And I think that's you're uncovering one of the great big fallacies in branding. And that is this, that you need a brand that's going to appeal to a mass of people. You need to throw that net super wide and as hard as you can. And then, okay, a couple of people are going to trickle back to you. And maybe it's more than a couple. Maybe you can go out and buy a bigger net. But it's always the same. It's always the same. Throw it out there and get whoever you can and chase and convince them to buy from you. Okay. I had to drop that for my own sanity. And that's something that I talk with my folks about over and over again is how many clients do you really need? Because I'm of the opinion that you need to get paid twice, not just for the work that you have done, but you also get paid with having a great experience with that person. Why? Life's too short. It's just too short. We don't need to work with people that dislike us and discount our input. I've done that for too many years, and I've done that as an entrepreneur when I've gotten in a wrong relationship, or I've gotten in a relationship that was really good at first, but then started turning and I didn't know how to get out. I've gotten in there both ways, and the answer is this, that there is something in you. There is your fingerprint. There is something with your heartbeat that's going to appeal to your people. And the more you bring that out and the more you learn to speak the language of your exact person, the better your life is going to be, the better your business is going to be, and the more you get paid twice on every client.
I absolutely agree with that. Now, I was raised in an entrepreneurial home. My parents were self-employed, and growing up in the 70s and 80s, it was, and we were in a small community. So it was, you act right. Don't you, don't tarnish the family name. Don't tarnish the family business. Anything you do, like, don't be a kid. Don't go get into any, everything was, always. And, at home, my parents would be one way, but in public, it was very, very pleasing to everyone. Like, they had no opinions about anything. They did at home, but that was only for home. And I was raised like, opinions are for the house, outside you please everyone. And I lived my life like that for many, many years because I didn't know. And I don't know, I'm going to say 15 years ago, I was like, screw it, I'm done, I'm done. That really wears on you to, put that mask on, not your cape and mask, but your actual mask hiding behind.
Right.
It's exhausting. And that's when, once I realized, you know what, when I let Peggy come out, then the people that like Peggy are going to come to Peggy and the other people aren't. And that's okay because now I enjoy my work again. Now I enjoy my clients, and they tell their friends, and there's a pretty high chance that they also hang out with cool people, but I will be honest, the one or two that, trickle in that aren't my ideal clients are usually from a referral, because their friend just loved me, and then, but and I teach this in headshots because actors do this. Their headshots are very, very specific to a specific role, right? And the reason they do that is because when casting directors look at thousands of pictures for one role, and they pick maybe 30 to 50 actors to give an audition, and then one person gets the job. Okay. So they're looking at all these people, and that thing has to catch their eye. That's my attorney, that's my doctor, that's my mom, that's my dad, whatever it is, that has to pop out, and that personality. Now what happens is when an image is so specific that pops out, and then they open it up, they look at the resume, they look at the work, see if that, if everything else lines up. And if it does, then they're like, you know what, not only could this be our attorney, but I have a CEO role over here. I think this could be our CEO. And it's the same with branding. The more specific you are, and I know there's this big controversy about niche or not to niche. Yes, be the expert in this thing. And then other people like, well, Peggy's really good at this. I wonder if she also does that. RJ is a genius here. I wonder if she could also help me over here. And that's how, and then you're spending all your time and energy doing the things you love, reaching the people you love.
Yeah.
And that narrow, you're spending your money on effective. You're not spending your money to reach 100 people that you're only going to talk to 2 people. You're spending your money to reach to 5 people that probably 4 of them are your ideal clients. It's more fun. It's more cost effective. It's just, right?
It's everything. It's everything. When I changed my perspective on marketing, when I started to know, and this was confirmed for me many, many times before I got the hints, but when I started to finally grab a hold of the fact that I can just part of my branding is that I'm not afraid to be who I am. Uh, if I draw criticism, good for them for using their voice. Yay. But I don't care. When I start expressing that, people are like, whoa. I remember one time I was down in Atlanta in an event, and I mean, it was a women's event of some kind of conference, and there were all of these ladies around dressed to the nines. It was amazing. I'm like, I appreciate this. This is great. But I got my cape on. I got a black shirt. I got jeans that have, some holes in them creatively, and this is my look, baby. I got tennis shoes on. I got ill-fitting tennis shoes on because I always wear my wife's when I go out. And her feet are way bigger than mine. Anyway, I'm standing there in my cape and goggles, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't think anybody's coming over today. You know what? They sure did. They sure did. They would come over and they would say, I wish I had the courage to just look the way I want to look. I wish I had your courage. And that's always stuck with me. It's always stuck with me. If you feel in your business like you are hiding to make everybody else comfortable, I encourage you to experiment. Maybe just stop that for a while. Maybe just for a while. You don't have to do it forever. I only intended to wear my cape for a weekend. It's been 5 years. When I experimented, I found out that this was my jam. This was my area. This is where I can fly unsupervised, and just be free. You might not feel that. You might feel like, oh my God, this is just way too much. Or you could find out that this is your jam. And I encourage you, if you've been dimming your light to make everybody else feel better, I encourage you to get out of that.
I double dog dare you, because it'll change your life. It'll change your life. It'll change your business. It'll change your outlook on the business that you do get, because it's exhausting to please everyone else. And especially, this is for professional photographers. And, there is, yes, it's our art, but also we have to, make that art what our clients need it to be and want it to be. And so there's always this push and pull with, how creative can I go? Well, when I first kind of let Peggy show, because I used to be a very, very, very traditional, very formal portrait photographer. And when I first started just letting that creativity out, I started like, okay, we did the real shots, right? And then we just had fun. And you know what? My clients like the fun stuff. And when you know the rules, then you know why you're breaking them, and you're breaking them on purpose, then that's called creativity. Now, if you're just out there, you don't even know anything, then that's just, by chance. But learn the rules, learn your craft, and then break the rules on purpose and be creative and let that shine. I love that you said that. That's it's exhausting not to. It's exhausting.
Yes, it is. It'll suck your energy. I mean, I work with a lot of people who are, doing coaching and they're maybe in their first 5 years or something. And when you're doing that, unless you're one of those huge, crazy people that fly around on planes, you're probably doing your own stuff. You're probably doing your own marketing. When you are a business that's doing your own marketing, even for a small period of time, you have to find a way of doing that that gives you energy and doesn't suck it away. Because the problem is, if you're doing stuff that's not aligned with your values, if you're doing stuff that sucks your energy, guess how much you want to do that, and guess how much it flips to the bottom of the pile, and then the bank account gets strained, and then the family gets strained, and then, damn, we're in a spot. I feel like there are so many ways to market yourself, and I don't really like to call it marketing. I like instead of marketing and sales, I like serve and invite. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Serve, invite. If they don't come to your party, they don't come to your party. It's good. Invite someone else. I mean, for me, that's language that attunes to my values. Find marketing that attunes to your values.
I love that, because I know a lot of people say, I don't like sales, but then at the same time, we're selling ourselves. I sold you on coming onto the podcast. I mean, it didn't take a lot. I was like, RJ, come to the podcast. You were like, yes. But still, that's really all it is an invitation.
Yeah.
So if the words trigger you, there's a lot of things in life that trigger me. I have, like, there are things that when people say, church or religion, I'm like, yeah, nah. Now, does that mean I am an atheist? No. But those words don't align with how I believe. So it's the same with sales, with marketing. Um, get it, find a way that you can digest it and thrive in it, because we all do it. You know, our kids just sold us on going to see, a movie that we really didn't want to see, and it turned out okay. So, um, people are always selling us on things. We're selling people on things. We're always marketing ourselves to our friends, to, hey, what is it that we need? Hey, we always have a hook in our thing. Hey, RJ, guess what just happened to me? That's a hook, right?
Yeah.
That's marketing. That's me wanting you to listen to the next thing I say. And when we're just authentic in it, we can actually do something and live the life we want to live.
It's true. I used to teach in one of the workshops that I held because my folks they do not like selling. It's not that they don't like selling. It's they hate insincere, pushy sales. They recognize it from a mile away and they go, nope, nope, nope.
There
Um,
are things I want to buy that I won't buy as soon as that person walks up to me and starts selling me. I'm like, man, if they would have kept their mouth shut, I would have been walking out the door with this.
mhm, mhm. And I totally 1,000% get that. What I have taught is that, I say, okay, in the workshop, how many of you really hate sales? And hands will go up and I'll say, okay, out of everybody that raised your hand, could you put in your mind a favorite restaurant of yours? And then they do, and I say, okay, I pick one and I say, pretend I'm in town for the evening and I really am hungry and tell me about your favorite restaurant. And then they will go into detail. And they will say, they'll say, okay, the maitre d's name is this. Go tell them Brian sent you. I mean, they will go to any lengths to help me have a good time and have a good meal. And then I say, you just sold me that restaurant, right? It's completely, we all sell things. We all sell ideas. We all sell things, but we don't think of it as selling. What we think of as selling is that pushy person coming over and not allowing us to make our own choices or say no or say, I got to think about this. That's where the ire comes up. And when we think of selling, we think we have to be that person. I am here to tell you, no, you do not ever have to push someone into a sale. Serve and invite, serve and invite. They'll come when they're ready.
And sometimes it's a real thing. Sometimes people are not ready in the things that are going on in their life. Sometimes people aren't ready in the financial realm. Sometimes people aren't ready because they just have too many other things they have to do, or maybe family that they have to deal with. Um, and when you build a relationship with them and don't pressure them, then when things do line up, guess what? They're going to come. They're going to come. They're going
They
to
can
come.
come.
I once had somebody that for 4 years was like, as soon as I'm ready, I'm going to have you do our family pictures. 4 years. And you know what? They finally came, bought a ridiculous amount of stuff, sent me tons of other people after that. But it took 4 years for them to be ready in their life for whatever. We don't know. We don't know what's going on in other people's life. But I could have been pushy to them and they would have been like, never mind, and never would have followed up with me if I was pushy. And instead, just whenever we would cross paths, just, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And, keep it moving. You don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be a jerk.
Yeah.
And people smell desperation. That's why they say, like, when you have a job, it's easier to get a job. It's that whole, oh my God, I got to eat versus like, I'm kind of busy, but sure, I can work you in.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think that, and this is totally my own theory, and I have no facts to back this up other than pure observation. But I feel like since the pandemic, a lot of things got kind of focused in, and people can smell desperation and they can smell pushiness way more than they could before,
Yeah.
I feel.
I would agree with that. I feel like I've always kind of felt like I was good at smelling that, but I think that other people are also aware of it. I feel like that's one of my, like, I'm like, whoa, back off. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the kind of, the kind of people that are, they're selling pushy sales out there. Um, I feel like, they're gonna need to pivot. They're gonna need to switch that out because that stuff just doesn't.
It
I
doesn't. It
mean,
doesn't.
if you've ever paid a large amount of money to a person with a big name to tell you to stuff somebody's email inbox 5 times in a day, and I did pay somebody, to tell me that once, who shall remain nameless, but yeah, anything that doesn't align, I'm gonna tell you, if you're new out there doing your business, anything that doesn't align with you, I don't care how much money that other person has made, because life changes so fast in the marketplace out there. I deal with marketing. Stuff like this changes so quickly that by the time somebody's selling you their 18-step system on how they made $3 billion in a day, that way to do it is probably over.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a
Or
flash in the pan.
they have different clientele, they have different situations. That's why I'm like, my idea of success is not your idea of success.
True.
My clients have different problems than your clients have. Like, I can give you wisdom, I can give you advice, I can help you think, I
Yes.
can help you problem solve. But if you want a XYZ 1, 2, 3, like they don't work anyway.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
doesn't.
easier. It's doesn't work. I can't think of anybody that's gone through some big shots program that it's actually worked for them. I mean, they'll
Yeah.
tell me how it's such a great opportunity and how I should do it, but I'm looking at them and I'm like, I'm seeing you pour money out, not not make any life changes here. So
Yeah, well, and I always say, if you're ever watching somebody and they're pitching something and it feels like a late night infomercial crossed with cult-like tendencies, run. Just run. It's
just
fine.
run. Just yeah. And that's tough for me because I don't like opening emails. I get an email from the same person every day in a week and I'll go unsubscribe because it just I don't like that. Now I understand I have to stay front of mind for people. I understand I have to keep a relationship and let them know, "Hey, I'm still here." But there has to be a balance that makes me feel comfortable and not like I'm just like sending out tons of, you know, prepackaged emails and messages to people. I don't like getting it. I don't like, "Hey, insert name, blah, blah, blah." It's like, okay. And I if I don't like it, then I'm assuming my client my people aren't gonna like it either.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And may I upgrade you on that idea of the top of mind awareness you were just talking about? So I really kind of had some thoughts about this. Top of mind awareness is something that, um, oh my God, early 90s. I don't know how many years ago it was now, but let's not do the math. Early 90s, I am in college. I work at a radio station. Um, the radio station had about 10 watts of power, which means that across our 3 block campus, you might be able to hear us at the other end if the wind was blowing correctly. But I was having fun. I was a DJ. I was the music director at this radio station, and they, we kind of at meetings and stuff, we talked about top of mind awareness, and that was, as a DJ, that's uh, sliding in the name of the station every once in a while, kind of doing subtle things to remind people, where they were and how cool listening to us was, in hopes that they would, keep listening to us. Which, I mean, that in itself, I guess, is a subtle form of marketing, but think about the early 90s, and if you're too young to do that, it's okay. Just imagine a world where phones hang on walls. No, really. And all they do is call out. and receive calls. And think about a world where there are no social networks. Think about a world where kind of you have a lot more choice about what you're consuming, what media you're consuming. These days, we've got stuff coming across on every single glowing rectangle we come across. The top of mind awareness, where it used to be kind of here, is now boop. It is freaking tiny. And so people that are teaching this stay on top of people's minds. I think they're dealing with an old framework because to me, I don't have to stay on top of your mind if I've touched your heart. I don't have to stay on top of mine. I can say what I want to say in my emails. Those people will unsubscribe that hate it, and I am all good. And I don't have to, with the advent of AI, right? A lot of people are churning out boilerplate, read also boring, boilerplate, emails and social media posts and stuff like that. If it isn't in your own voice, it absolutely does not matter. And that top of mind awareness, I think that might be, while that was probably true in the early 90s for a 10-watt radio station in Blair, Nebraska. No, see it on a map. It's hilarious. It's I don't think it exists anymore. And I think that we need to connect more deeply with people if they're going to remember us and give us a call after 4 years.
And I love that you said that. If you touch their heart, you don't have to. And that's really true. Like, if the things that you really want to remember, you're going to remember. The things that just came past your eyes, TikToks, Instagram, everything is just like boom, 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 boom. There's no way you're going to remember everything, but those things that, like, hey, I need to come back to this. Let me reach out. I like getting, I like the people that are around me to know that I'm actually a human. If they have a question, they can actually contact me. I mean, I may not be available in a minute, but within a couple hours or a day, I'm definitely going to respond. I'm a real person, and I actually care.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, right now, with all the AI, with all the bots, with all that, which we all know are amazing tools, but human connection is human connection.
And my job as a person who works in AI and works in marketing and automation is to decide where is the best place to put the human. Where are we at our most connective and effective? And how can I use automation to spritz away all of that stuff that you don't like to do anyway? How, there's a best place for all of these things. And, what is absolutely your best moments where you shine? It's where you're talking to people in their DMs. It's, where you're meeting people at an event. It's when you're networking. You cannot replace that. If you attempt to replace that, you will, you're going to get nothing for your trouble. Which, I mean, people will still try, but I feel like automation has its place and AI has its place, but it's a very powerful connective tool if you know where your humanity needs to be.
Mm-hmm. I love that. RJ, it has been so fun talking to you.
I feel like we should talk for hours.
Much. We literally, we could. I think we have probably in the past. But thank you so much. And all of your information is going to be in the description so people can reach out and hang out with you. At least one of the two coolest people in this room right now, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, RJ, thank you so much. Bye, everyone. I will see you next Thursday. Same time, same place.